Hello, my friends. This is going to be a quick, short, and sweet, hopefully, because I need to get my butt to sleep. Anyway, you guys know I've brought up CERN several times in the past couple of videos. I've brought up the Gotthard Tunnel. I've brought up Klaus Schwab, right? All from, happen to be in Geneva, Switzerland. CERN was just in the news because they just fired up their Hadron Collider once again. It's been down for several years, apparently. The last time they fired it up, there was the claim of the Mandela effect. And that is because there are really 10 dimensions out there, okay? We can access 4 of those dimensions. 6 of them we cannot. Right now, that is what they're doing with CERN. They're trying to break through the veil. They're trying to access another dimension, which sounds very similar to the Tower of Babel, right? The Tower of Babel was the biggest structure ever built in that time. CERN is the biggest structure built in our time. In the logo of CERN, you'll find the numbers 666 because they hide nothing from us. The statue that is on the land where CERN resides is the statue of Shiva, the destroyer. Also, where CERN and the Gotthard Tunnel and Klaus Schwab reside was dedicated to Abaddon. Abaddon is another angel of destruction. So you've got all these signs, right? You've got all these kind of similarities. Tower of Babel, they all spoke one language. CERN is where www was created, what we use as a universal language on our computers, right? Okay, so Revelations, John talks about when Satan was given the keys to the bottomless pit. And out that pit came locusts, demons. Now, CERN, they call their pit the shaft of the abyss. The shaft of the abyss translates to the bottomless pit. And Tower of Babel, trying to break into other dimensions. CERN, trying to break into other so there's a lot of similarities between the two, okay? So it's symbolic, basically. And again, they put these symbols right in your face, but people don't make the connections for some reason. Just the tunnel, the Gotthard Tunnel opening, the ceremony, right? They say, oh, that's conspiracy, it has nothing to do with CERN, it's not even anywhere near CERN and all this other stuff. But how do you know it's a tunnel? How do you know where that tunnel goes? Have you ever been in that tunnel? Have you been through the entire tunnel? Because they're both underground at the end of the day, right? The head of CERN, one of the top scientists, out his mouth, this is a quote, that they could possibly open up other dimensions, wormholes, black holes, which could destroy the entire planet. They could let something through or let something in. This is all out of their mouths. If you want a little more information and more depth about this, I would listen to Gordy Rose. He has a specific video where he's talking about these beings that are out there that don't care about you like you don't care about an ant. That could come through with what they are doing, okay? What they are doing is they're trying to find the God particle. They are trying to recreate the Big Bang because, they teach us that that's where we came from. But they want to call it the God particle. Actually, they call it the God DAM particle, which I'm not going to say because I think it's just totally mocking God. But that's what they do. There is also a leaked video that's been going around. I think I saw this video like 10 years ago, where the scientists at CERN are blowing off steam by doing a mock sacrifice right in front of Shiva, right? They just happen to be doing, this is just something they like to do in their spare time, these freak scientists, right? And a woman lays down on the ground, and here comes the sword, and someone's recording this. Now, I don't know how this person knew to be there to record this. This is what gets fishy and funky. And this is what they do, though, right? They let out certain things like this, to start conspiracy theories, to start people for spreading false information and lies and all this other stuff. But they also do it to show you who they are. Whether it was real or not, I don't know. But that video is very old. It's resurfacing, of course, now. But what they are doing, like I said, essentially could destroy the entire planet. And they'll do it at the cost of that. They don't care. They don't care. When I tell you that they've told us that we are going to own nothing, have no privacy, and be happy, that is all in their 2030 agenda. It is going to be the universal income. You won't have to work, which is why they've killed the workforce. Everyone is at 50% pretty much right now. Everywhere you go, I don't care who you ask, almost everyone's at half staff capacity. I don't know how people are surviving. I don't know how people are living, but they are. We're getting new hires and they're lasting like one day. They're not even getting through the hiring process because it is a long process. For whatever reason, they'll work one day, they quit. We can't keep anybody. Nobody wants to work. It's ridiculous. And they're paying pretty good right now, which is pissing off people that, like myself, that have been in the company for 14 years and people are starting at like $4 less than you. Like it's just, some people are starting like 50 cents less than people that are, it's not right. But they're desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And everybody's doing this. Everybody's putting their pay up to suck people in. It's still not working. So I don't know how people are surviving. But anyway, you'll have no privacy. Okay, so they've got these drones that can detect your thoughts. So there's going to be thought police, just so you know. So before you commit a crime, they're going to stop you. They have these pills that you're going to take. All your medications are going to have these little chips in them so that they know you're taking your medication. Because if you don't, you're not being a good little boy and girl, your social credit score is going to drop. Yes, you will have a social credit score. You ever watch Black Mirror? I'm not really into all that stuff, but I did watch like the first season. That's what I'm talking about. That's a social credit score. Just like China. It's coming, guys. I'm telling you. But what we have to ask is, how are they going to get us to conform with this? Especially people like me who stand for our God-given rights, stand for freedom, who stands for the Constitution, right? Makes me a bad person for thinking that way. It makes me some kind of a T, I guess, right? It puts me in some kind of category, in some kind of box that I don't even belong in. I don't recognize as a Republican or Democrat, because I know at the end of the day, it's all a bunch of BS. And there is no real right and left. It's all the same thing. At the end of the day, all roads lead to Rome, period. Rome is rising from the ashes. They are trying to build an empire, guys, under our noses. And we know what happens after that, right? If we didn't have free will, we would have no chaos and everything that's going on. So in order for them to stop all the chaos that they're creating right now, which is getting worse and worse and worse, they have to take away your free will, which is then when they'll say peace and safety, and then we know what comes after that, right? Sudden destruction. If you look in the skies, guys, if you look at the sun, if you look at the moon, if you look at the stars, the clouds, the fake clouds, the chemtrails, you'll see something's not right. There'll be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. These things that are flying around at night that I don't know what they are coming in droves. I'm seeing like 6 at a time now, where before I would see one, maybe like an hour later I'd see another one. They're all over the place. One very low last night, again, across my work. Funny how I was just talking about this, and here they come. Because I haven't seen the low-lying ones in a while. The ones that look all different colors. They look like disco balls. These things I'm talking about look exactly like a star, though. Exactly like a star. They're not flashing. It's not an airplane. And it's moving just across the sky like this. It's not a flying star. Don't know what it is. Don't know if the stars are fake. I don't know. I don't have the answers for all that. I'm not going to get into that today. But I really would suggest, if you don't know anything about CERN, or if you've never watched the Gothard Tunnel opening, please go watch it. Just go watch it. It ain't going to hurt you to watch it. When I tell you that I have entities in my house, I hope you believe me. Listen, I've been seeing an astronomical amount of comments in people's videos talking about exactly what I'm going through here. How is that possible? Shadow figures, hearing voices, hearing footsteps, dreams, being attacked in their sleep, sleep paralysis, all of it. Why are so many people going through this? What have they done? What have they opened? The bottomless pit, maybe? I've said this. I already said this. I feel like that's why they did that little ceremony at that tunnel. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If we look at the last decade, I think we can see the signs that we are in some really bad times where people's hearts are hardened, where people are turning away from God, but at the same time, there's an awakening happening. People are starting to feel the Holy Spirit. People are starting to experience the paranormal. It's all happening. And I'm telling you, these very devices that you're holding, your television, anything, any black screen can be a portal for these entities. And depending on what you're watching, the eyes are the lamp of the body, guys. That's all you need to know. Whatever you're watching is going to affect you. That's why people say get out of the world, stop doing worldly things, listening to worldly music, watching worldly movies. You've got to stop. Or at least cut back. Or at least pray for God to help you to stop and give you something else to focus on. Give you something else to pass your time away instead of wasting it on Netflix and Hulu. And nobody reads books anymore. And these kids, pretty soon they're not going to be writing at all. They don't know how to read or write cursive, which is the law of the land is written in that. Isn't that kind of funny? The fact that schools were made as indoctrination camps for people to go out and make other people rich, basically, is still the same thing. They don't teach these kids nothing that they need for life. Half the kids are graduating, can't even read and write. They're not going to need to, because you're going to have your universal income. You're not going to work. This is why this is all an agenda, guys. Nothing that's happening is just an accident or, the domino effect. It's the domino effect that they've created. And people are falling for it. And all the distraction you're seeing right now is just because they've poisoned half the world. And they're still doing it. It's coming back. That little protection's coming back. They're not done. Have you ever seen a virus act like this? It just stays around year-round for 2.5 years. Never gets better. But yet, you don't hear about it on the news for months, and then all of a sudden it pops back up. Oh, it's back again. All your food is garbage. There's like super bugs in ground beef now. Super bugs. But they got protection for you. And make sure you take that medicine, because if you don't, they're going to know. And then you're going to be in trouble. That's where we're headed, guys. Within the next 10 years, I'm telling you, we will not recognize this country as we do now. And people are going to fall for it and push for it. And just like people are falling for a fetus isn't a life. We've been lied to. They tell you that, but it's in your science and biology books that life begins at conception. Yeah, there's different stages. Of course there is. And maybe people think, when it's at that sac or the embryonic sac stage, that it's moral, but you're still ending a life. You have to at least admit that. When you go to these places, they're not happy places. They're full of grief and mourning. So why would you say it's okay, it's just a clump of cells? It's really not, because if it was that way, then these women wouldn't be leaving there in tears and sad and heartbroken. And then the second and third ones are just disgusting. If you've never seen it, they basically rip that thing apart piece by piece. And you see that little thing, that little baby. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say thing, but you see that little baby moving away from the needle, trying to save its life, because it's a life. And there's women that think it's okay, second, third trimester. It doesn't matter. They look at it as a leech or a parasite. That is not a healthy way to look at a fetus, a growing baby in your belly. That is not healthy. I'm sorry. But that's what they're teaching. They don't care that there's over 1 million of these things that take place every year, and it's mostly birth control, because the cases that people throw out there are like 1%. Maybe if it was only those cases, we wouldn't be where we are right now, but we are, because we've taken things too far once again. 9 months. They will kill a baby at 9 months if the parents say it's okay. A whole baby, born, breathing. That's where we are. So if you're standing for pro-choice, you're standing for that. See how it's a trap? I can no longer support it. I just can't. I look at things different now than I did 20 years ago. I've been lied to like everybody else. But when we look at the big picture and we see these women screaming and yelling and having these mental breakdowns because they can't have something done that they can prevent in the first place, unless cases of, those other cases. Why are people so angry? You can prevent this. You know that, right? You can prevent it. Maybe we've gotten a little too far with the promiscuity and immoral acts that we've committed. We ever think about maybe it's our fault that we've gotten here? We don't want to look at ourselves, though. We want to put the blame on everybody else. When, again, this is something that shouldn't even be happening. We shouldn't even be having sex out of marriage, period. Maybe that was for a reason. I know it sounds prudish and, Stone Age to some people, but that was a reason. There was a reason for that. Wait till marriage, because then a baby can be created. But if you're not in a good relationship, a healthy relationship, or married, and then you get pregnant and you're like, oh, I didn't want this, but you knew it was going to happen. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. And I'm not being a hypocrite. Listen, I've been there. But I look at it different now, especially where we're at 9 months. Like, I could never stand out there and fight for that. But there's women that will. There's women that are. They don't care. Their hearts are hardened. We've got to at least admit it to life. If you feel like that's something you got to do, that's on you. I'm not judging, but you've got to at least tell the truth to yourself. Even the one of the workers at Planned Parenthood said it. These women know exactly what it is when they come in here. And then she said something else, but I forgot, so I'm not going to try to quote her. But she basically says it's murder. These workers know. But yet they'll tell you to make you feel. They're not going to make you feel terrible and horrible about yourself when you're there. They have to lie to you. It's their job. They're following orders. But it is a big lie at the end of the day. And we shouldn't be doing it, because we can avoid it. We're too far gone, though. We're too far, like way too far gone. Way too far gone. Especially with the whole trans thing. That thing's getting out of control. Out of control. How people's thoughts. How people are being brainwashed with these thoughts that they think they're right, and they think that what they're doing is okay, and that they were meant to do this, and again, being lied to. And they're pushing it on children so young. Too young. Way too young. Even adults that make the decision to mutilate their bodies, a lot of them regret it, because then they realize, I've done everything I can to make myself the different gender, and I still can't completely be that gender. And I now mutilated my body parts, and I can no longer have a functioning body part. You don't think that's going to cause depression when they're in a relationship with someone that they love and they want to? You don't think that's going to cause suicide? Of course it is. They're being tricked. The devil is a liar. And people that say, I think people's biggest obstacle when it comes to believing in God is, why does God let bad things happen? Why does God allow bad things to happen to innocent people, children, these horrible cancers, these starving children, these homeless children, these children not being raised in these abusive homes, drug-addicted homes? And I get it. I get the argument. I do. But maybe they shouldn't make it so hard for adoption. You ever think maybe they are keeping it that way for a reason? It's not easy to adopt. It's very expensive. You got to go through a lot of stuff. And I get that you got to be safe about it, but it shouldn't cost as much as it costs, period. But that's why a lot of people can't adopt. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can just adopt a kid. And that's sad. That's really sad. You shouldn't have to even pay to do this. You shouldn't have to pay for a human being. Why are you paying for a human being? Does that even make sense? Why do we pay for water? Why do we pay for any of the stuff we pay for? Because they've capitalized all of it and taken all of it and taken over all of our resources on us on purpose so they can control us. And it's just going to get worse, guys. It's just going to get worse. Listen, when they speak, you got to listen. When they tell you, you got to listen. You see all the signs. Apple. What do you think Apple represents? Look inside the Google. Either you see the 666 symbol in there as well. It's in everything. But they know people aren't seeing it because their eyes are not open fully. Their veil hasn't been lifted. Their lamps aren't fully lit. Alright, guys, I'm going to go because I really got to get some sleep. I just wanted to throw this out there because I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I'm sorry. I told you guys I really just don't have a lot of time. I actually want to start doing a cooking video because I know a lot of people don't even know how to make basic stuff. And I know there's a million videos out there that already have that, but it's something I like to do. So, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But anyway, something that you'd like to see, leave it in the comments. If not, whatever, it is what it is. Nobody ever comments on my videos anyway, so I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and tell you comment, please click the bell. I'm not going to do it. You don't want to do it? Don't do it. I'm not going to force you. But anyway, that's all for today, guys. I just recommend you do your own research into all this stuff. Who Klaus Schwab is, the World Economic Forum, what it's really about, CERN, the Gothard Tunnel. There's so many places out there I could send you if you don't know. But it is a rabbit hole. I will give you that warning. Once you fall down it, you're not coming back out. But at least you can find God. That's the good thing. At least you may find God in the end. But alright, guys, I will talk to you soon. Stay happy, healthy, blessed. And I will be back.